Hey, it's almost the end of the month, almost the end of the year, and almost the end of the decade, but that won't stop game news from coming out. We have a bunch of news from the Game Awards, from Resident Evil 3 to the Xbox Series X, which is, I'm sure, a name that no one on the internet will ever be able to make fun of. We'll take a look at the specs on the... I'm sorry, what? No, I'm recording right now. What? People on the internet are calling it what?
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us and tuning in to the Unknown Games podcast. This is episode number 14. And if you don't know, we are a podcast about video games, some life in Japan, a little bit of anime, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but generally video games. I'm your host, Adrian, and I am joined as always by my co-host, the great Alex.
What's up? How's it going?
See, I can have this intro go any other way. I could be like the wonderful, magnificent Alex, and it would just be, what's up? I'm Alex.
Yeah, I'm never going to change it from that.
You're never going to change. Never going to sell out. That's good. That's a lesson that we should teach
I'll sell out. I'll sell out.
Yeah. Some sponsors like, Alex, we need you to say like this specific line in the happiest...
I'll say anything for money, yeah. If anyone wants to pay me, send us a message.
Oh man, this week we have a huge show because the Video Game Awards happened. Mr. Jeff Keighley gave us some wonderful things to talk about. Also, Apex Legends is continuing to, or not continuing, one of the two, to do skill-based matchmaking in the public lobbies. That's still also a topic. And yeah, State of Play didn't do anything, so we're just gonna gradually skip over that thing because it happened. But yeah, and I don't know, we may talk a little bit about what we're playing in the first segment, as always. But yeah, so, as always, what we're playing, and then after the break, we'll do news.
For sure, sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know, so I can say that I've actually been playing Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core a lot now.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's been going good. I've been loving just the... getting a deeper understanding of what happened before 7.
Right. Is this your first time playing through the game or what?
It's the first time I've played through it, so...
So you've owned it all these years, but you actually never played it until right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do you like it?
It's good. I mean, and I can honestly see some of the similarities to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Maybe potentially some of the parts of the battle system, like you're leveling up your materia. You don't have like a sphere grid system or anything like that, but the more you use materia, the more with the the OMW drive, it does like level up when you hit certain rolls. So it's similar at the base, but there are some things that change it up a little bit. There's materia fusion, which is interesting. I thought about Persona for a second. I can see like this game being a product of whenever it came out, and I don't think it was actually influenced by Persona. It's more influenced by kind of gacha, like the cell phone games or mobile games at the time, because like all the battles, even though they're very procedural, you do have like missions that you can go on that are very much like you fought 1, 2, 3, 4 waves of enemies kind of deal to get a reward that you can then use. But anyways, I've been enjoying the story so far and kind of understanding who Zack is and just kind of remembering that, Cloud was a broken child.
Yeah, Cloud actually wasn't a really good character. Would you say that Crisis Core is essential to the series? So if someone, let's say someone who's like 10 years old, who obviously wasn't really alive when 7 came out, and they're like, oh, I'm on the hype train for FF7 remake, and I want to check out what this series is. Would you recommend someone to play Crisis Core?
No.
Really?
Only because they would need to buy a PSP.
Well, okay, let's say
there's no remake. Okay, but if that's not a problem, I would say honestly. No, wait, no. so I'm not at the end of the game. I'm maybe a third of the way. And honestly, without the kind of knowledge that I know about 7, I don't know if I would understand. Like, you would know, okay, this is Sephiroth, and then you would say, okay, Angeal, he has a Buster Sword, but it like those connections might happen. And so, like, I'm waiting for later on in the game when, Cloud is, I'm pretty sure, I think he's in the game, when that happens and I can actually make more connections. So, like, I have a feeling there's this, there's a kind of, I think, a third-rate soldier or someone I'm talking to a lot now.
Okay.
I feel like that's Cloud. I'm like, I'm going on missions for this. He's like, no, my superior keeps, I'm going to be fired and I'm just so bad. And can you do this mission for me? I'm like, what? Why would I need to do a mission for you? You're that bad. I mean, but I'm thinking it's him and it's going to be unveiled. But it's good to see, like, the Turks. And, I just ran into Reno and I'm forgetting the other guy now. Crap.
Yeah, I want to say Jude for some reason. I don't know if that's correct.
Someone will correct us. But
Reno and Tang, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it. And then there's also additional characters you meet before them in the Turks that don't show up in 7, of course. But you're just like, okay. I think it's better if you play 7 first, then play Crisis Core.
Right. Okay.
It's not essential, but it's almost just like you're giving yourself a little bit of clarification, and it's a little bit easier with modern writing. They did a good job, I think, with a lot of it is voice acted. The voice acting is good. A lot of the acting in terms of, like, what's happening on screen, the cinematics, all of that is a lot better, of course. So I think that it's good to play afterwards and just really enjoy the universe a little bit more so than Dirge of Cerberus.
Right. So I actually never played Dirge of Cerberus. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but
it's a good thing.
So here's my hope for a remake. So they said that the remake is going to be more than one game over the next couple of years.
The next decade. Yeah.
Probably at the point at this rate of games being developed. But my hope is that they'll kind of just remake the whole series. So they'll start with the game 7, the main game, the main story.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would actually love to see Advent Children in game form.
I was gonna say that's, like, in terms of what you have. Well, it's canon. That's
it is canon for sure.
Yeah, that's the canon. Yeah.
So I would love for them to take all their ideas, so Dirge of Cerberus, Advent Children, and Crisis Core, and just try to wrap those up in the remake. I don't know, saga, I guess, like, this game project that they're doing. It's
totally possible, honestly. I believe it's honestly possible. And it might take a lot of time.
It might take a while, but I think we've come almost full circle, where if you look at Advent Children, the movie, and you look at the footage, especially the cutscenes for FF7 Remake, really close. They're really close. They look really good, like similar. So we could do it. We could have Advent Children the game. It would be like 2 fights, but whatever.
It would just be two fights, and you would have to deal with the story of Advent Children. But it's like, do you think that Final Fantasy X-2 ruined Final Fantasy X? Do you think Advent? Yeah. But you know what? I watched that movie when it came out, and I was so hyped on Final Fantasy VII that I didn't. I was a poor fan that didn't care. I was one of those that was like, oh, God, I'm just so happy.
They could fix it. I mean, they could
definitely fix it.
Yeah, they could fix it. They could expand it. So that's what I'm hoping they might do.
It's actually interesting when you bring that up. If you think about it, Advent Children is a lot easier to do as a game than the entirety of
2-hour movie or whatever.
Yeah, and it takes place in a couple of settings, but they could actually do that.
I would love for them to do that, especially if they're going to go through the trouble of making more than one game. Just do the whole thing. Do Crisis Core. Do Dirge of Cerberus. I don't even maybe. And Advent Children. And yeah. Anyway, so you're playing Crisis Core.
Yeah, I'm playing Crisis Core. It's been good. I've been enjoying it. I'll continue. I want to try to beat it before, of course, Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Which we'll talk about FF7 Remake later on, because of course that trailer was shown at the Game Awards. Not at the, like, it was actually shown in the pre-show. Interesting enough.
Well, I saw it on YouTube, so.
You saw it on the real channel. The real channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. You been playing anything different or extra or anything interesting in the games you're playing?
Well, I'm still going through Pokemon. I'm almost done that. I kind of last played it the end of last week, but I'm going to finish it probably tomorrow, where I just need to I got to wrap up the story kind of thing. Like, I got to wrap up the story, and I have a couple more fights, but I'm almost done Pokemon. But aside from that, I've been playing a little bit of Atelier Ryza.
Oh, you got it. You got Mystic.
I've had it for a while, actually, but I kind of put it aside. I played through a little bit, but I didn't finish it. So I always do this thing where I try to, like, figure out which of my games should I get out of the way first. So I know Persona 5 Royal is like a 100-hour game. So I went on the internet and I was like, well, how long is Atelier Ryza? It's like 25 hours, which is like basically this. Yeah. Well, just
game is short as heck.
Well, that's according to howlongtobeat.com, which is like my guide for which games I should be playing. So it's only 25 hours, which is like the same length as Pokemon pretty much. So I was like, well, let's do it. Let's just finish this. I'm like halfway through the game right now. And it's certainly picked up in the gameplay loop. I like it way more than I did, like, 10 hours ago. So I was playing
at the beginning?
through. Well, yeah, the beginning basically. So I was playing through it, and it really reminded me of RPGs that I used to really like back in high school.
Yeah.
So that was like a familiar kind of feel for me, and I kind of enjoyed it. It was a good kind of thing. The dungeon design, it's fine. It's pretty basic, I guess. Like, if you played any game from that era, the dungeon design at least would be pretty similar. But I think the biggest pull for that game is the alchemy part of it. That's really what the series is about.
Right.
And this is my first one. This is my first Atelier game. So I tried to play the other ones like Rorona and Totori, because they were free on Japanese Plus, and I'm a Japanese Plus member. So
okay, and so you just picked them up then.
Yeah, I tried to play them, and I was like, oh, I like this art style. This is super cute. I enjoy this kind of art. Maybe I'll like this game. I like Japanese RPGs. And then I was like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't play these games.
It's like, no, this is a little, because I mean, I'm guessing this might fall into the trap of how we were talking about on a previous episode of, JRPGs sometimes being too slow on the start, like just way too slow. In this case.
Might have been that, but it also just might have been that I wasn't the audience for those games. I mean, they're really niche games, and people that like them really like them. But it could have just been the case that, those games just weren't for me. But I think you can tell that Ryza was meant to hit a broader audience.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things about that game. Yeah, and she hit the internet hard. But like, that game, I feel like if you're jumping into the Atelier series, that's the one to do it in, because the combat's great. It's a really good combat system. It's a little more faster paced than the other ones. And the crafting, the alchemy, has been, in some cases, simplified. So there's like an autofill function. So you go to a recipe that you've already unlocked, you can just hit a button, and it'll just automatically select ingredients for you, and you'll just be crafting stuff without thinking about it.
Okay. I was going to actually ask for, like, those of us who don't understand the crafting, not the crafting system itself, but so what are you crafting things for, like to use in battle, or just like what are you crafting per se?
Pretty much everything. So yeah, you do make battle items, you'll make usable items, you'll make healing items. You also craft like your own equipment, so like your armor and your weapons. And then you also craft tools, gathering tools, in order to get more stuff so you can do more crafting. So you'll craft like a hammer so you can break blocks, and then you'll craft like an axe so you can cut down trees. So like everything is craftable, and you'll meet like an NPC who's like, I need like 5 things, and you're like, oh, coming right up, I'm an alchemist. And you just, you'll make it.
You craft it up. Okay, that's kind of cool. And it's, for anyone who's of course played, like Monster Hunter or any of those kind of games, it's at least a familiar, for me, in my mind, I'm making a kind of connection for me to be like, okay, like I'm crafting this to then I can craft some more stuff, or I just like crafting. So, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't want to say it's similar, but I don't want to say it's wrong. But
Yeah,
there's a feedback loop of crafting to do more crafting.
which is always good, and like that's awesome. I'm glad you're playing it. I know I want to play it. I haven't bought it yet, so I'm gonna wait for it to get on sale just a little bit, and then I'm gonna jump in and run around and enjoy the old anime graphics.
Yeah. I'm actually playing in Japanese, so I would recommend. I mean, I think you can play in Japanese. It's a great game if you're learning Japanese, because it's not that hard to understand. There's a couple words maybe you don't know, but you can just look them up and then you'll learn them. Right? It's part of learning. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the English version doesn't even have an English dub. It's just subtitled.
Really? So like if I were to get it on Steam, then I just can't even.
Well, if you get it on Steam, you can switch the language.
Switch the language? Okay.
That's how Steam versions work, typically. So if you buy it on Steam, you can be like, I want to play with Japanese text or I want to play in English text. That's your choice.
Okay.
But if you get it on PS4, you're kind of locked into the language of the region you buy it in.
The region. Okay.
So I bought a physical Japanese copy and I'm playing it in Japanese. And it's fine. Like, I'm understanding the game fairly well, and it's not bad. So if you're learning Japanese, if our listeners are learning Japanese and you're like, I want to absorb more Japanese in my daily life, how can I do it? I highly recommend playing video games, and this is a game that I think you could play and enjoy.
Yeah, well, I know we have a potential listener who is, she also does her own podcast, CBJ. She's studying Japanese, and like I also second what Alex said. If you want to study Japanese, study with what you like. I mean, study a base first and then kind of go into studying what you like, by what you like. I do recommend games just because, the text is there. And if you want to stop, you can look up things. Mm-hmm. And you do have to be a little careful because some games will have some obscure vocabulary. But like Alex is
Tales
saying,
games. Yeah.
You're like, what are you talking about? Look, it doesn't exist.
Tales games are awful for that. But and Ryza's really good for learning Japanese as well, because if you can't really understand a word, you kind of miss it. Mm-hmm. There's a log you can bring up, and you can check back everything that was spoken in text, and you can replay the voice clip for that text line.
Oh, nice! So you can actually get like the audio and the kind of visual. I won't say visual, but reading it as well.
So you're just like, oh wait, what was that kanji? Like, wait, what? How do you pronounce that kanji? You can just bring up the log. You can have them play it back repeatedly, and then you can like, oh, that's how you pronounce it, and then you can look it up way faster.
Dude, that's awesome. That's good.
So,
that's good.
I mean, so yeah, if you're learning Japanese, I would check out Atelier Ryza play in Japanese. I think at a minimum you should be N3, and to read it comfortably, I would say a little bit above N2.
Okay, so that is a broad spectrum. But, of course, to play a game in Japanese fluently, you will need like N2 or higher, just because.
Right.
Just sentence structure. You got to read, so.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, so I've been playing Ryza.
Awesome. Man, I need to get that Ryza. Mystic.
Yeah, good game. Good character.
You know what you're gonna have to do for next year then. Like, you're gonna have to compare. Which was better, Ryza or Kanagawa Jet Girls?
Yeah, we'll find out in January when that game comes out.
I just had to bring it up.
I'm probably gonna get it. I'm not even kidding.
I know that is the thing, and it's gonna be full price Japanese, 8,000 yen.
I know. Yeah, it's gonna be full. I'm gonna pay full price for the game. I'm gonna get it on Amazon probably.
Oh my goodness.
It'll come in the mail. I'll put it in, and I'll be like, wait, why did I get this game?
Why did I pay like $80, 80 to 90 USD for this? I don't know, but I'll take the plunge with you, because if it has co-op, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But we're gonna take a quick break, everyone, and then go into the news segment, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And you may have noticed that we have 2 sponsorships now. Of course, one is our normal Anchor sponsor, which is, you can hear my lovely voice talk about Anchor. I know some of you have downloaded it and you're liking it, so that's awesome. And then the next one is just a little thing for the holidays for charity, sponsored by the Ad Council. So about diversity. So give that a listen. It's about 4 minutes, and together, both together. I just don't want to. I just want to preface it so everyone's like, I don't know, man. It just like all of a sudden got increased. I'm listening to his voice so much more now. Yeah. So that is what it is. Anyways, we're going to see you on the other side of the break and talk about some video game awards.
Sounds good. See you then.
Yep. See you then. All right. Welcome back, everyone. I really enjoyed talking without actually talking. And I'm glad that you listened.
We have a podcast, yeah.
That's why we have a podcast.
I wonder if anyone's just like, I like the sound of my voice so much, I'm going to have a podcast and I'll just listen to myself talk all day.
No. But probably yes. There are probably some people who really love the sound of their voice. Like I personally don't mind my voice, but I don't like it to the point where I'm just like, because I don't have bass.
Oh, you really? You can EQ your own voice.
But it just sounds weird. In real life, I don't have bass, but then it's just like, even if I EQ it, then it doesn't sound like me. I got to be me, Alex.
Did you know that like everyone? Well, obviously, I think you knew this, but everyone hears their own voice differently from within their own head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's because like when you talk, you kind of vibrate the bones of your own ear. So when you hear your own recording, it doesn't sound the same because you're not getting that weird vibration from within your own head. So everyone sounds bassier to them than they actually are.
And that is the tip of the week, sponsored by some science and technology from the University
I wouldn't say technology, but yeah. All right. Anyways, the news.
The news. And I didn't even, okay. Yeah, the news. We're going to talk about so 2 things happened last week, I think, as of this recording. Of course, we had State of Play, and then we had the awesome Game Awards. So
the Game Awards.
The Game Awards. And so State of Play, just to sum it up, I woke up at like 8 a.m. No, it was like 7 a.m. I think. And yeah, it's just like a Nintendo Direct, just a mini. And last year there was Last of Us 2 gameplay reveal, and some other things. It was, kind of lengthy and in depth. This year, just a video roll with the narrator going, hey, and check out this game so we saw a little bit more of Dreams, which was Dreams. It has a release date. I believe it's in April, if I remember. I didn't pull it up. But Dreams is, of course, it's coming out on PlayStation 4. And that was cool. There was a couple of VR games, but nothing really exciting until we got to I'm calling this like the backwards reveal, because it was like, hey, we're going to check out Resident Evil. What is the multiplayer component? Project Resistance. So it's like, let's check out Project Resistance. For like the single player footage, the campaign, and I'm like, okay, cool. So we started looking at it, and before this, there's already the leak of Resident Evil 3 remake.
Right.
Looking at this trailer, and I'm like, oh snap, it's in first person. Like, is this gonna be like VR? Because multiplayer game that no one really kind of cared about. It's decent. Maybe they're gonna throw a VR element to it, for the single player. Okay, Checking this out. It's running, falling. Oh snap! What's this girl looking kind of Jill? Yes.
Yeah. So that reveal for 3,
and it was good. Like, and then so it's like, and we're excited to say that the single player for Resident Evil 3 with
Project Resistance, right?
Project Resistance. I'm like, wait, you what marketing? You led with this the entire. We've been under this for like 3 months almost.
Yeah, so that was kind of, I think, their attempt at like a cool reveal. So if you remember at TGS this year, Capcom was on the floor with Project Resistance. That was their game. They were like, hey, we have a new game coming out. It's called Project Resistance. And everyone's like, oh, wow, it's a Resident Evil spinoff. I guess they're using this to buy time before a remake of 3 or something like that. And then sadly, days before State of Play,
Yeah.
Resi 3 leaked.
I mean,
And,
yeah.
kind of took the wind out of their sails. They would have had a pretty cool reveal, I think, had that not gotten leaked.
Had that not gotten leaked, because people were really thinking like this is where it's going to be revealed. Like this is it. Like we're going to see it during this time. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it looks good. I like, that now I think you can actually go back for a new generation, and even for people like me who haven't really played all of the Resident Evils post 4, that they can go back and play it in a modern, very good and faithful retelling.
Yeah, it looks really good. We're living in really weird times right now with all of these remakes and all remasters coming out.
Because it's like, remember when remakes and remasters first started, it was just a way that we felt companies were trying to get money, and there still are. I mean, it's still a way to resell it. But
I like these. These are the kind of remasters I want. Yeah,
these are actually good ones.
Next up, give us the Xenosaga one, and then
give us that. Give us our Xenosaga. I mean, dude, I was on Twitter before the Game Awards, and Smash fans are on something, man. Smash fans are, they really love their DLC characters, because I was just looking, and they're just like, they really wanted Sora. Like, Twitter was abuzz with Sora for being announced for Smash. I'm like, guys, y'all hoping for miracles. Second one was, we want Cosmos. I'm like, Cosmos?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Give me that.
I was like, you gonna give me my girl? You gonna oh?
Well, we talked about this a while ago, but hey, if we're gonna if Smash characters, I still want Chrono from Chrono Trigger. He deserves to be in that game.
He does. That would be awesome.
That'd be so hype. Then we have a Chrono amiibo. Oh man, give me that thing.
Marketing, you need to get on this. Listen. They get on this. They probably, someone's like, oh, we should do this, just get the rights or something. I don't know. But yeah. So I'm just sitting here like, Smash, you guys are awesome. But
right. So that was Resi 3.
That was Resi 3.
Which is kind of cool. What else did we get? What else was announced?
The last thing was just Ghost of Tsushima, which started out, it's just literally a teaser. It was about 20 seconds. And then it just goes, and you can see the rest at the Video Game Awards.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, which leads us to...
A teaser for a teaser.
A teaser for a full-on trailer.
Oh, okay, so a teaser for a trailer, right? Okay.
Yeah, it was a teaser for a trailer. A tit for a tat. Tit-tat-tots. I don't know how that goes. So we 2 days later, Video Game Awards happened, and it was, honestly, this is the first time I've listened to the Video Game Awards watch them live. It was a lot easier being on the actual time zone. So it wasn't when I was working or anything. And I watched it on YouTube. It was streaming on over 60 different platforms, which was insane. You could watch it in VR if you wanted to.
Yeah, and I think they're streaming in 4K as well, which is a super high bandwidth. They were. Yeah.
I was like, yo, Keely, you know how to do it. And it's, everything went off without a hitch. I got to say, to preface this, I actually watched this with my mom, next to my mom.
Oh, really? Hey, Mom, let's watch the Game Awards. And she's like, wow, I hope Smash Bros. Was Game of the Year.
So, what we've been doing when I've been home, we've been watching movies together, weekly, nightly movies kind of thing. You pick one, I pick one. And then this time I was like, we're going to watch this Game Awards show. And dude... The moment when she said, these games look so real now.
Yeah. Well, they do, really.
They look like a movie. I'm like, They do. They do. I was explaining to her all of the games that were winning. Anyways, enough of that. Because we had some cool announcements. Number one, the first thing that popped up was actually the Final Fantasy VII remake trailer. Or the Cloud remake trailer. With
English voice acting, right? So we get to hear Cloud talk in English for the first time? Second time? I don't know.
For the... Wait, was this the first time? Or the second time,
well,
right?
we've heard him talk in Japanese a little bit, during the initial remake trailer. He was just talking and just super short. I don't even think that was his final voice actor, to be honest.
So this was the final voice actor reveal kind of thing.
Might be his actual real voice actor this time. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time we heard him speak in English with his voice actor.
It sounded good.
It did sound good. I mean, it fits his characters, you know. So I was like, oh yeah, that is Cloud. That does sound like Cloud. So I have no problems with the voice actor. I think he's pretty good.
I think he's pretty good too. Like he's got the the bass brooding going on, and I love like Barrett's just telling him like you don't hear the planet crying. This dude got his arms crossed in the elevator, looking at him like, bro, you dumb. Do you not hear the planet crying? Do you not need help? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I like this trailer. So basically, if you played 7 before, and I think a lot of us have, this all looks familiar to you. This is basically the first 2-3 hours of the game. It's the bombing mission, essentially.
Yeah.
But just, to hear it voiced is incredible, especially for us who grew up, with the original version. And to see it look like this, the combat looks really exciting. So I think this has increased my anticipation for the game. And, I'm excited to actually play it.
Yeah, it was a good trailer, and of course the talk between each of the characters and how natural it sounded was great. And for me personally, I was like, okay, because we've seen most of the footage in the trailer before. I wasn't like super hyped, but when the bombing mission, that music that remix version just hit hard. Oh man, I was just like, it took me back in time, and I was just. Yeah, it got me super hyped. Like I said, I love a lot of the music from Final Fantasy, especially during that time, and it was just, I can't wait to hear how all the game music sounds. That's going to be a soundtrack I know I want.
Yeah, and I remember playing 7 as a kid, and my mom was in the room, and she was just like, "What is that music?" I'm like, "Oh, this is a video game." And then she was like, "Wow, that's a video game. That sounds so good." And I think that shows that just like that soundtrack was so good that it kind of transcended what game soundtracks kind of were at that time.
Yep.
I'm not saying like it was the best soundtrack of that generation. There's lots of
good ones,
lots of good soundtracks, but I think it defied the expectations of people who weren't gamers, and I think that shows that the soundtrack has really good appeal. It has wide appeal to people who aren't necessarily gamers. And the PS1, like, I don't know if you remember, that was like a MIDI soundtrack. That wasn't...
Yeah, those were MIDIs. Good old MIDIs.
Yeah. That was a MIDI soundtrack.
MIDI.
So, it'll be pretty, amazing to hear it fully orchestrated. We've obviously heard it fully orchestrated before with the number of arrangement albums that Square has put out, but this will be in a video game, so...
It's going to be good. And of course, like after that, Jeff literally gets on the stage and he goes, sometimes it's great, to know that none of your things, none of your announcements were leaked. But I'm really glad to tell you that these really weren't leaked. And it just got like really silent. And I'm like, what the heck is this dude talking about? Like, what is he going to And this trailer comes up about some dude just like, have you ever wanted to do everything that you could do? I'm like, civilization? Because like the entire trailer or the beginning starts out with like, landscapes evolving and moving kind of through time. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, you see Chief. I'm like, Xbox? Well, actually, there's a car going through this environment. And then Chief comes out and I'm like, okay, cool. Then it gets this little weird cube shape and you're seeing everything. I'm like, okay, it's like some Xbox Series. Okay, it's just like so Xbox announced Xbox Series X. Darn it.
Yeah, right. So this is the new Xbox that's coming out next year, competing with the PS5. They're coming out pretty much the same time.
Yeah, holiday 2020, and it was interesting. The box, like they showed the box, they showed the controller. The controller, I believe, has a share button on it now. So there's 3 little buttons: start, select.
It does, yeah. It has an extra button on it now.
Has the extra button. The immediate impression that I got from the box, the physical appearance of it, was just it looks like a black spire, like just a tower PC.
Oh, like a like a building or something, right?
Like a building or something. Like it doesn't visually please me per se.
It doesn't visually please me.
Microsoft, if you're listening, this is not visually please Adrian.
It doesn't visually please me. It's funny.
Oh.
Well, I have a lot to talk about. Like, I have a lot of opinions about this console, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, so you're just
Yes.
saying you don't like how it looks or whatever, but what do you think of the console itself?
The console itself, like in terms of what they showed after that, is they showed Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, which honestly, the moment they showed Senua, I was super hyped. I love Ninja Theory. The game that they're working on, the multiplayer game that no one really cares about. I'm sorry, Ninja Theory, but no one's loving that one. So it's good to see that you're doing this. And Senua was a great game. But what I have to say is, I honestly thought to myself, this looks amazing. I want to play this. I love this character. I love the story. I want to continue. I need to buy an Xbox Series X, which I still don't like the name because Series Y has to come. And anyways, then I thought to myself, wait, I have a PC now. I'm just gonna get it on PC.
Yeah, you can do that. So, the name's not good. I'm just gonna say it out. I mean, when I saw the name, I was like, why is that the name?
So they can have Series Y, literally.
We had the Xbox as the first Xbox, and then the Xbox 360, and then the Xbox One, and then the Xbox One S, and then the Xbox One X, and now we have the Xbox Series X. So I was like, next Christmas, there's going to be some poor kid who's going to get an Xbox One X instead of a Series X. Like, it's just going to happen.
It's going to be, it's a confusing name, honestly. But as they said in a statement, it's so that down the line they can also have more names. They can, honestly, we really could see a Series Y or Series A. We could see different.
I don't know if that'll be it could be a higher powered generation. Like, for the first time in the PS4 and Xbox One generation, we had mid-cycle refreshes. So the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
So I don't, maybe they'll do the same thing with the next generation. But I was talking to my friend about this actually. So the first thing that strikes me is that, it looks like a computer, like just a desktop computer, like an all-in-one that you would buy from Alienware or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking, like, instead of a mid-cycle refresh where you buy another box, we didn't get to see the back or anything, but we don't know how expandable this console is. Maybe it has modules. Maybe you can just pop out the GPU and you can slot in, an upgraded GPU and have a more powerful console than you did 2 years ago. And this isn't a new thing. Like, we saw this with, for example, the N64. The N64 had something called the expansion pack. It was for extra RAM.
Yeah.
And it was just like a thing. It was a slot that they had in the top of the console. So maybe they could do this. Maybe they could streamline mid-cycle upgrades by having the console designed to be modular from the beginning. We already have removable hard drives with the PS4, and I'm presuming the Xbox as well. I don't own one, but we can already increase our hard drive capacity. Why not the GPU, which would really help? That would expand the life of your investment, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great option. I think instead of potentially selling us a Series Y, we'll just say Series Y, that is a completely, new console that's upgraded similar to the PS4 Pro or Xbox One X, just sell us the part that is Series Y that we just put in. And there is probably something that they have to make it super easy to do. And I think over the course of last generation, with swapping out hard drives, I think a lot of people are a little bit more able to do those things. Right. Because, a lot of people who are playing games at this point, of course, are still children, but they're also our age in their, 20s and 30s. So I think that's a good idea.
I think it's for sure possible. If you remember the Xbox 360, the original version, that hard drive was kind of in a weird enclosure, but that was so hot swappable. You just push the button down, and the top of it popped off, and then you can just put a new hard drive
Oh,
on.
that's right. Because I remember buying that actually, it was it was literally on a clip on top of the thing. You just swapped it out.
Yeah, you just popped it off, and you had a bigger hard drive. So they've already done that to some degree. Sony, it's easiest, but for Sony, just kind of you have to unscrew
You have to unscrew
your
the little
door.
cage. And
It's
then
not hard. It's not hard at all.
It's super easy. Yeah.
But the 360 originally, that was so brain dead. Anyone could do it.
Just take it off, and because it's visible. I think that's one of the cool things is that it's very visible.
Mm-hmm.
But with this new, with the Series X, it's not visible per se. We don't know the other. We only have a view of the front and the top.
Exactly.
Which the top has a light for some reason.
So we didn't see the back. There could be like a door, and then just like push here to pop out your GPU, and then you just buy a new one, right?
Yeah, and they've also said that you can lay the console down. It does have a disk drive, so they're not going the old school Xbox One way of trying to alienate the world. And they said they're going to try to make this affordable and not something that is above 600 and above.
Oh, they have to be taking a loss on this then if it's going to be like 500 and under.
So you've looked at some of the stats. Like, what do you think internally?
Okay. So we don't really know exactly what they're putting in it. I'm reading their press release right now, and it just says, from a technical standpoint, this will manifest as world-class visuals in 4K at 60 FPS, with the possibility of 120 FPS, including support for variable refresh rate and 8K capability. It's using a custom-designed Zen 2 from AMD, and has a bunch of other stuff like variable rate shading on their GPU. So that's interesting for a couple of reasons. So number one, 4K at 60 FPS sounds incredibly appealing. That sounds very powerful. But to be fair, that doesn't say exactly what the visuals look like. Any computer can run a game at 4K 60 FPS if you turn the settings way down.
Okay.
So maybe that means either that means they're putting like a beefy GPU in there, or they're doing a PC approach where you can toggle your settings up or down depending on if you want to focus on visual fidelity, so 4K, or you want to focus on maintaining a solid frame rate. Which they might be doing because Microsoft they've been kind of combining their PC and console offerings, if you know what I mean. So there's the thing where it's called like Play Anywhere, I think. Or if you buy a game on Xbox, you actually own it on PC.
On PC. And
no questions.
It's smart. I think that kind of cross-play feature, which, PlayStation used to do a lot more. Cross-buy was... Right. That's a honestly good proposition. And the fact that even if I don't have an Xbox, I can play it on PC and then still have it on Xbox if I try to get it later down the line. Just knowing that your library is still there is, it's comforting.
But I think they might be doing that in preparation for this console, where if Microsoft sells you one version of the game, they kind of only need to make one version of the game if it runs on PC or if it runs on Xbox. If the Xbox is basically just a computer that they're selling to you, a pre-built, for example, like an Alienware, it's so easy for them. They just have to tell developers to be like, make this game, but make sure it has to meet this minimum spec. And that minimum spec would be the Xbox Series X. And if you have a more powerful computer, then you could scale it up.
You could scale it up.
Settings like higher resolution, high resolution shadow or whatever, or like depth of field or whatever.
I think that I think they're in a good position this next time around, this next generation, in terms of, like you said, they've been unifying all of their, the platforms that they have between Windows and Xbox, and even mobile. A lot of the stuff that they're doing is very, how can I put it? Because I'm losing my thoughts. Darn it, I lost my thoughts, Alex. I lost my thoughts.
I don't know what to tell
You got to
I'm
mind
sorry.
read. You got to mind read.
Nope, can't help you.
Okay. Well, I guess the thing I want to say is that, Microsoft has been quiet this generation because obviously they're not the leader that they were in the previous with the 360. They had a lot of PR that was just bad and they went silent, but they decided to, buy some studios, good studios, and not just 4 of them, not making the same games, but really invest in making a good ecosystem for Xbox with first-party exclusives, and knowing that also benefits anyone who has a PC, anyone who has an Xbox, and just that ecosystem. Like I said, they've made an ecosystem. They also bought Mixer, so we've been talking about the whole streaming thing. So now, I think that they have a good ecosystem all around now that is very much game-centered.
To be honest, it's pretty compelling. If I have to, to be honest, like they have a share button on a console, no doubt when you push that button, you're going to start streaming on Mixer, right?
Yeah.
By default, if maybe exclusively Mixer, like maybe Twitch won't even be an option.
Yeah, just push Mixer. That makes sense. Not to even, to have Twitch as an option, but the default being
Mixer, yeah.
Mixer, yeah.
So I just wanted to touch on 2 more things for the Xbox Series X, is that they also said the possibility of up to 120 frames per second, including support for variable refresh rate. That's very, very, very interesting because I don't know of any TV that supports 120 hertz or variable refresh rate. So those are very decisively PC features. If you're running a gaming monitor, for example, that goes up to 144 hertz, those are features that would appeal to a PC gamer, not a couch gamer, because my TV doesn't go to 120 hertz. I don't think your no TV does that.
No. Most standard TVs in the living room aren't going to be 120 hertz,
right? Yeah. So the fact that this console, that they're just announcing it like, hey, 120 FPS variable refresh rate, that's just like
that is a monitor setting.
Yeah, like I can connect to my monitor and enjoy this console. So now it really sounds like they're selling you a PC.
A PC.
Yeah. And for $500, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. If the specs are compelling, if the price is $500, that is a hell of a buy because that's cheap. Like, that is the easiest way to get into, I'm going to say PC gaming, because this sounds like a PC. And if Microsoft is going to be like basically combining their 2, arms, like so PC and Xbox gaming, their offerings, if all their first party stuff is on both platforms, this is the easiest way to get into PC gaming for like $500. Then you're golden. 4K
and you're
gaming.
golden. Dude, what if it was kind of crazy in the sense that how we buy PCs is how we buy this next Xbox in terms of customization? So you start out with the Xbox Series X, but you add a couple more parts and you're at Series Y. And if you want the highest line, almost like, like you buy a Surface or something, the more you add into it, the more it costs. I don't know if they'll do that, but that would be some trippy.
I can see that, to be honest. Like, let's say you're opening, you're in the menu for, let's say, Cyberpunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you go into the menu, and usually on PC, you go to visual, like video settings, and you can change your resolution and your texture settings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What if that menu was on the Xbox version, and you try to bump up the resolution to 8K, let's say?
Yeah.
But it's grayed out, and then there's like a thing that says like, in order to unlock this setting, you need, this expansion.
This part this. Oh, dude. I kind of want this to come true.
It's possible.
just so we said it 1 year ago. We said it.
But that's basically PC gaming. This is like walled garden PC gaming, where Microsoft is selling a distilled version of what PC gaming really is, where you kind of build your own computer, you customize your own specs and stuff.
Yeah, I gotta say it, dude. You're getting an Xbox Series X.
I'm interested in it. I already own a PC. I own a capable gaming PC, so I'm not in a huge rush to get this thing. But what it represents, I think, is pretty interesting. Also, it's backwards compatible, so it says 1 console, 4 generations. So I can play Lost Odyssey on it, and that's pretty chill.
It's like finally I can play Lost Odyssey once
Lost
again.
Odyssey,
and you can play your near
Near one, yeah.
one. There were two Nears, right? No, because it was 2 and 1.
Well, there was Nier for PS3 and Nier for Xbox, and it was the same game but different protagonists.
Yeah.
What was Trusty Bell called in English? That's Trusty Bell's the Japanese name.
Trusty Bell.
Eternal Sonata. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, okay. Eternal Sonata. I don't even remember that game. I remember hearing about the name sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
It's the RPG made by Tri Crescendo, and Chopin is one of the main characters. Like you literally just play as Chopin, the pianist, and like it's his dream world.
I totally heard something else, but
you guys should play that game. Like it's not a great game, but it's a very interesting game in the history of Xbox 360 RPGs, because that was in the middle of their push, and then they brought it to PS3 anyways. But anyways, sorry, we spent a lot of time on Xbox Series X. So what else came out?
Yeah, I mean it was a huge announcement, and I think the fact that it didn't leak just made it even better. After that, of course, we had Godfall. So actually, was it before, after? Either way, that's the first PS5 title. It said launching on PlayStation 5. I believe it's exclusive, if I remember, on the interview. But it's made by Gearbox, so these are the guys that do Borderlands and, Battleborn, of course. But they're good with co-op.
Battleborn.
So this game
known
is,
for Battleborn. What universe are we in right now?
I mean, like a trippy universe. Someone's like, he's just reaching. But oh man,
known for Battleborn. Sorry,
it's not even like a title for this episode. But the kind of cool thing about this game is that it is a kind of action RPG, similar possibly to Diablo, or it's a loot driven game. And of course, co-op, and of course, loot, which these guys do in spades. Like this is where they shine. This is what they do. So it was the trailer was kind of cool. Had this kind of science, sci-fi, not sci-fi, but fantasy element.
Kind of looked to it, yeah.
It looked, but I don't know. I felt like something epic was going on. The armor that these people were wearing was just badass looking, and I was like, okay, this looks cool. I mean, I don't think for me, and I'm going to say this for even the Xbox Series X, I'm just going to call it Series X, the games that both of them showed aren't games, I believe, that maybe Godfall, but Godfall, like the name, and I hope they change it. It's just, it sounds generic for me, and that's...
Yeah, it sounds like a mobile game, right?
Yeah, it doesn't hook me. And for Senua, I think Senua's great, but that is just way too hard core of a game for what they like. That's not something I see, and I'm going like, I want to buy a console because of that game. So I think they just showed the games that of course, that were ready. Senua scared me still. Those voices, the voices in her head, man, they were going ham this time. They were on blast. Anyways. Yeah, Godfall, it's happening. So, yeah, holiday 2020. And after that, of course, we had the Game Awards. The awards.
The actual awards, so the Game Awards, right? The
actual awards. I think a lot of these games that did actually win deserved it. And we're going to run over the list. Game of the Year, this surprised me between...
You know what, it did surprise me too, yeah.
Because... So, there's the Outer Worlds, Smash Bros. Ultimate, Resident Evil 2, Death Stranding, Control, and Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. And the winner was Sekiro. The reason why this surprised me is because they were on a lot of other categories. Well, not a lot, but they were on a few other categories where just didn't win anything. It was silent. And this game came out earlier in the year, as opposed to like RE2, I thought was actually going to, Smash or RE2. Those are very solid contentions. Control was winning a couple awards in the night. Smash Brothers, of course, I believe won Best Fighting Game. But I mean, a lot of good buzz came from RE2. I didn't even have Death Stranding. I was like, bump that. But Sekiro was quiet. So I was surprised. It's a great
and then
game.
It won Game of the Year.
Then it won, and Miyazaki got up there, and the crew, and I was like, you know what? It's, I'm glad. It's very much. If you can't win for any of the other Souls games that are out right now, or that weren't released, take it home for this one. I don't know.
Have you played Sekiro? You have, right?
Yeah. 24-hour marathon.
Do you think it deserves it? Was it Game of the Year for you?
Game of the Year for me would have been either Smash or RE2. I don't think that Sekiro is Game of the Year because I also played Bloodborne right after that and fell in love. Like, actually
wasn't 2019. 2019.
But I will say, because of Sekiro, I was able to play and understand Bloodborne and understand it. Like, if any of those games felt hard for you, and Sekiro is hard, I think Sekiro strikes a really good balance that anyone can, even if you're just kind of mashing the parry system on that game, you kind of understand that, the kind of one-to-one combat and how people who play the Souls games, how they feel, right? You kind of feel like, oh, okay, this is kind of how it is. I'm dying, but it's so easy to hop back in, as opposed to those games. I don't know why, but it's easier. It's faster paced action, and the set pieces are amazing. The set piece battles, which is every major battle, I have to say all of them were amazing. All of them were amazing.
That's
so I
cool.
guess, yeah. It's Game of the Year.
I haven't played it, sorry. So I haven't played Sekiro. I actually haven't played a lot of Souls games, to be honest. I know they're good. I know lots of people love them, and I understand why they love them. But it's just I just haven't gotten around to them. I don't hate them by any means, but I just haven't really played them. So therefore, I haven't played Sekiro.
Yeah.
But it is cool to see that From Software took home Game of the Year from a Western, media outlet, I guess.
Yeah, and I was, a lot of people. I think he said something about like, let's make a great. So he said something about the next game, making another game. Of course, we know he's making another game, but I thought he was going to say, and I love to tell you about Bloodborne 2. Everyone's mind is probably just thinking, Bloodborne 2.
So, there's an alternate universe out there where he got up on stage and he was like, I want to thank everyone for making Armored Core 9 Game of the Year.
I want to thank him for making Armored Core 2. I don't know if he was on that staff, but if he was. I
don't think he was,
but interesting, I've played all the Armored Cores up until the PS3 era.
There's so many of them. I mean, God, there's so many of them.
I beat all of them, dude. I used to love me some Armored Core, like I said. That game.
Well, Armored Core is just like a cool concept. Like, the mechs are cool, the designs are cool. It's a cool series. Let's see. Oh my God, there's so many Armored Core. I can't just go went on Wikipedia right now.
Oh gosh, I only remember up to 4 Answer. I think that's the PS3 title. PS3.
4
Xbox
Answer
360.
was PS3, and then after 4 Answer was V. I don't know, 5, maybe 5.
5. I think 5 was actually legit good.
And then there's Verdict Day, which was the last game in this series, 2013. So it's been on ice ever since they hit gold with Dark Souls. Suspicious timing there, but yeah. So that was the last time, or the last Armored Core game.
Armored Core, and the only thing closest to that now is, for Switch is going to be Deus Ex Machina. No, that's an actual game. Daemon Ex Machina. There we go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, man, Armored Core, yes, is dead. So when did Dark Souls come out? Sorry, I just gotta Google this. Dark Souls 1 came out 2011.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2 came out 2014. So obviously they were just like, Armored Core, that's not bringing in the bucks anymore.
No, it wasn't.
That's too bad. Anyways, got a little off topic here.
No, it wasn't. Anyways, yeah, we got a little off topic. But Game of the Year, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Action Game of the Year, Devil May Cry 5. I think that is very well deserved. I don't know how Apex Legends is in that category, or Call of Duty Modern Warfare, but hey, I guess there's action in the games.
Yeah.
Action
But a loose
adventure.
definition, yeah.
Actually, you know what?
I
I
mean,
think I missed this. I'm like blasting through these. Alex is like, I want to talk.
Well, that's fine.
I'm
It's a
sorry.
lot of stuff to get through.
Yeah, we're running on that time, kids. But action adventure, Sekiro actually won this. I didn't pay attention to that, which was against Death Stranding and Link's Awakening. Both
Wait,
really.
Death Stranding was an action game?
It was an action adventure game.
I don't. I mean, sure. I mean, okay. Yeah, all right.
Best art direction, Control was the winner. Audio design, Modern Warfare.
Okay.
That's good. And Sekiro is in all of these categories. I just want to tell you. Community support, Destiny 2. I was very happy. And then also, Final Fantasy 14 is also in that category as well.
Mhm.
And Apex. Community wise, Destiny 2, that community is the support that they have to do. Bungie going back and forth every darn month, trying to save their lives for the past 5 years.
Yeah. And then they broke free of Activision, did their own thing, so that's pretty cool.
So I definitely give it Content Creator of the Year, Shroud. Gotta say, good stuff.
for moving
For
the
being-
mixer in and taking that fat Microsoft check.
Making moves, man, making moves.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip the esports coach because I don't know Zonic. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Esports events, League of Legends World Championship 2019. My friend used to work at Riot, and he always sends me whenever they do like World Championships. He'll be like, "Hey, take a look at the YouTube video of what happened." And I looked at it, I was like, "Y'all have too much money. They have too much money." And speaking of Riot, there were 2 Riot Forge games unveiled at the show.
Oh,
so
right. Yep.
they're popping them out along with Magic the Gathering. So Magic the Gathering had like 2 announcements and buttload of sponsorships. But esports game of the year, League of Legends. And anything else? Family game was the best category because they were all Nintendo games. Luigi's Mansion 3, Ring Fit, Super Mario Maker 2, Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Yoshi's Crafted World. Best family game of the year goes to Nintendo. And
Family
Luigi's
game? I had no idea family game was a
category. Was a category.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Luigi's Mansion won that, which is good. Best fighting game, Smash Bros. Ultimate. Some people might have wanted Mortal Kombat 11. Can't hate. And I want to say Disco Elysium, best the fresh indie game, which that had a really cool. I didn't play this game. It won twice, and I was not really sure what it was. But Reggie Fils-Aimé got up on stage and made the best, like the most love felt indie game.
Oh, right.
Speech.
Yeah, that speech, right?
It
So
was good.
talking-
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend about that speech, because I found it funny for a reason. So he goes on stage
Mhm.
and he gives that speech about indie developers being important for the industry because they push the industry forward, right? They're not, like he said, like, oh, everyone here at one time was an indie developer.
Was
We
an
all
indie
started
developer.
somewhere. We were all dreamers, right?
Yeah.
And, indie developers are so important because they're taking risks and they're pushing gaming in new directions. And it's a very inspiring speech.
It's good.
And then it cuts to the announcer where it's like, fresh indie game of the year
Yeah,
presented by
By Subway.
I'm like, oh my God.
On
Oh my
Twitter,
God.
Subway was like, please tweet like who you think should. I'm like, oh gosh, why is this presented by Subway?
So just that, like, completely devalued what he said, because it's not even like best indie game of the year or like most important indie game. It's fresh. Indie game
made
presented
Subway
by Subway. I'm like, oh my Sub, what are you doing, Subway? Like,
made fresh. You got to have your subs made fresh, just like your indie games.
yeah.
No stale.
Anyway, so thanks, Subway.
Thanks, Subway. But after or before that, we had the Muppets on stage with your Untitled Goose Game. That was a good skit. I mean, they had some good skits in there. That honestly and genuinely, because like the game that won, it was Games for Impact that was up and that was happening, and it was like, no, it's not geese, it's Grease, which is the game I streamed this game, and it was a very beautiful game, very good. There's no words, but it says so much to the art direction and so much through how you feel when you're playing. It's one of those games, and I was super happy that they won for Games for Impact. Game direction, Death Stranding I think this is the only award that they actually got besides maybe soundtrack.
Sorry, Death Stranding?
Yeah, Death Stranding.
They got best direction or something.
Yeah, best direction, which was like the second to last,
Right, like right before Game of the Year.
Yeah. And Sekiro is in that category too, so I guess they wanted to split. I don't know. Best independent game, Disco Elysium, and best mobile, Call of Duty. Multiplayer game of the year, Apex Legends.
Which is fine. That's okay.
I literally am not even going to say anything else on the rest of the awards because Apex won, and I felt so happy.
Well, I mean, good on Respawn. Now they can make Titanfall 3.
Hopeful wishes, but the holiday bash is going on.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
So we're gonna probably this is like, what is this, like the extra long show?
Yeah, we should wrap this up.
We should, yeah. We're gonna have to wrap this up, everyone. But the Game Awards, put it short, were very good. Ikumi Nakamura got up on stage. She did her "Mite ne." There was a very awkward speech. She tried. I've been following her on Twitter, and she was like, "I'm about to pee in my pants, guys, before I go on stage."
She made a pretty funny tweet where she's like, she sat next to Elon Musk.
Dude, she was sitting next. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she was like, "I forgot to ask Elon Musk for a Tesla."
And she had another.
He'll probably give you one. Actually, if you just ask him,
just ask him. Like, here, have a Tesla. She did a tweet with like, "I had lunch." No, she was with Ninja. I think she had some like udon or something. She's like, "I had udon with Ninja." It's like, following her tweets is just like, she's like, "I'm happily," even on the show, she's like, "I am unemployed right now, but I have been enjoying life," and it just honestly feels like she's living her unemployed life dreams. It's actually pretty cool, if you're in the position to do that. We love you. So yeah, that happened. Game Awards overall very good. I enjoyed it. Amazon had an MMO that they.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Amazon Studios was like, "What are you doing, Amazon?
We're getting an MMO," and I'm just like, interesting, cool. You guys keep doing your thing. But what we do have to turn off is this podcast.
Okay. Because we're dead.
Because we're gone. Because we're no longer. Gosh, Alex, why do you always have to kill us, man? We just gotta stay alive.
Sure. Well, we'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back next week or the week after next. It's getting close to Christmas time.
It is. It's freaking me out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what if we want to do like I think we toyed around with the giveaway idea. If anyone is listening, send in a voice message that just says, "I want a giveaway." I want a giveaway. Just send a voice message on our Anchor page. It says, "I want a giveaway," so that I know when I purchase a game out of my hard-earned poor money, it's going to someone. It's going to someone. And yeah, you can follow us on Anchor at you can follow us on Twitter at UGP_cast. Shout outs to all the people who follow us on Twitter. You guys are awesome, especially also the Apex people who follow us. You guys do wonderful things, and all the podcasts. You guys are also wonderful. Alex, do you have anything?
I don't know, man. Eat your vegetables.
Eat your veggies. Follow us. I'm going to keep saying it. Subscribe to us. Like us. Share us with your friends. And have a wonderful... Will it be Christmas the next episode? Oh, my word.
Yeah, it will be Christmas.
Well, I guess have a Merry Christmas. Have a good Christmas. Yeah. We're going to say it in advance. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. From us to you. And, remember, you set the tone. Go play some games.
Yeah.
Have fun.
We'll see you guys later.
See ya.